everyone, I'm Kariba Devine, and welcome to 12 News in Focus. Every week, we take a look back at some of the great stories brought to you from our 12 News journalists. On today's show, bringing survivors together for the 13th annual DBAC's Race Against Cancer. And a heart attack survivor from a Southwest flight reunites with the people who saved his life. But first, raising the bar, why Mesa firefighters are doing pull-ups for burn victims.
Let's do it.
Got this.
Let's do it.
On his day off, Mesa firefighter Tyler Franklin is putting in the work. He, along with other Valley firefighters, are trying to do as many pull-ups as they can within an hour.
What's it been like so far?
Very hard. Just trying to push my limits.
He isn't complaining, knowing what these pull-ups will accomplish.
It's great, dude. Like, you're able to participate in something, bigger than yourself.
It's all to raise $40,000 for a cause near and dear to the man who started this endurance event.
How you feeling? Good?
Good, yeah.
Glenn Jordan.
Want to raise as much money as we can. There's at a burn foundation and the burn survivors around the entire state.
It was almost 5 years ago when Jordan survived a gas explosion in Chandler. He was working at an eyeglass repair shop a couple doors down from Platinum Printing, where a mislabeled and overlooked gas pipe, known to leak in hot climates, exploded.
We have an explosion right in rural northeast corner.
4 people were injured, including Jordan, who suffered second and third degree burns to 40% of his body and spent 26 days in an induced coma. Despite what he went through, Jordan pushed through.
Had a great opportunity to be in a gym of this nature, to have great physical therapists, to get me to thrive again.
Inspiring him to create the pull-up challenge to not only raise money for burn victims, but to show you can endure anything you put your mind to.
The idea is to achieve goals that you set. Don't stop there. Celebrate them, set a higher bar, keep raising the bar, work toward that. That's what each person here is doing today.
Showing them support along with the crowd, helping Franklin reach that goal he set for himself. Hitting 312 pull-ups.
The last stretch was really hard, thankfully. I had someone in my corner right here. She gave me a lot of help, a lot of encouragement, and yeah, I gave it my all.
Meaning so much to him, the other firefighters, and of course, Jordan.
It's incredible emotionally to see everybody want to turn out to support me, the event, and the foundation.
Chase Golightly, 12 News.
U.S. News and World Report has recognized Basis schools as having some of the best schools, not just here in Arizona, but across the country, and one of them right here in Goodyear.
I woke up this morning to the amazing news.
Meet Peter Bezanson, co-CEO of Basis Schools.
Once again, the Basis charter schools are very highly ranked nationally.
U.S. News and World Report on Tuesday published its annual rankings of best high schools in America. That includes college readiness. Basis Goodyear, number 16 in the U.S. 11 Arizona Basis high schools in the top 100.
We at Basis have a culture of high expectations, and so that kind of nerdy culture, but it's not just nerdy, where nerds are cool, and science and math and humanities and history. It's nerding out over all sorts of different things.
One of those self-described nerds is senior Graham Holmes. So, do you like being a nerd?
I love it. It's sort of the stereotype that nerds are kind of misfits in society, but I embrace it. I love being a nerd. It's great.
Graham has gone to Basis Goodyear since first grade, forging lifelong friendships while excelling in advanced placement classes. The calling card for Basis. What's the best part of going to Basis?
I think the best part for me is the preparation for college. So I'll graduate with those 16 APs, and that will provide me with about 45 college credits.
Graham also is in line to be co-valedictorian. He's already received one full-ride academic scholarship after scoring a perfect 36 on the ACT college entrance exam. In addition to the national rankings, U.S. News ranked Basis as having 9 of the top 10 high schools in Arizona. Still, the CEO said Basis has its challenges. About 30% of 8th graders leave for other schools, and there's the money issue.
The main reason Basis is great is teacher quality. And it's one of our bigger struggles, too, because you have to have sufficient state funding to hire great teachers, to pay them what they deserve, and to retain them. So that's actually a big struggle.
Reporting in Goodyear, I'm Craig Harris, 12 News.
At first glance, this looks like any other 5K, but for thousands of people who fill the streets around Chase Field each year, every step has a much deeper meaning. The D-backs Race Against Cancer brings together survivors, patients, caregivers, and families, all united by a disease that has touched their lives.
It's an incredible event. We started it back in 2013. I was diagnosed with cancer in 2011.
Derek Hall and his wife Amy are both cancer survivors. His father died after a battle with pancreatic cancer. Hall is on a mission to encourage people to take their health seriously.
And I wanted to use it as a platform, to get in front of cameras and have a press conference and tell men out there they should go through screenings.
Since the race began in 2013, more than $1.2 million has been raised to support cancer screenings, treatment, patient assistance, and new technology. This year, runners will follow a new course that passes the Dignity Health Cancer Institute before finishing a lap inside Chase Field. Tony Houston is the president of Dignity Health Arizona.
A community organization coming together, Diamondbacks, Dignity Health, and others to raise $1.2 million to reinvest into the caregivers, into their equipment, into their education and teaching, and so for patients as well, so they can come and receive the leading edge care at our Dignity Health Cancer Institute, which is just around the corner from Chase Field.
The event isn't just for elite runners, it's open to walkers, families, cancer survivors, and anyone who wants to honor someone. Kevin Kemmerly hasn't missed a single race. He's even won 5 times.
It's a great cause, obviously, raise money for cancer, but just the race experience itself is awesome. It's one of the best races I've done.
This year's 13th annual D-backs Race Against Cancer is set for Sunday, September 27th. The 5K starts at 7:15 in the morning at Chase Field. To sign up, go to dbacks.com/race. Use promo code 12news and save $10 off registration. From Chase Field, Kyle Simchuk, 12 News.
And coming up, helping schools through random acts of kindness.
An educated society has a lot of power. They're the ones who rise up and put pressure on our leaders. And I see us in the role as educators of current events. That's one thing we do really well here at 12 News, and do so in an objective and straight down the middle way.
A garden, a fresh coat of paint, a sports clinic, and even a free car wash for teachers. They're not just random acts of kindness. They're part of a bigger effort to bring schools and their communities together. And right now, schools and volunteers are getting ready for this year's Love Our Schools Day. Sometimes an education solution looks less like policy and more like a paintbrush or a bag of soil. Volunteers showing up with a mission.
It's just an opportunity for people to give back in ways that are needed and that they care about.
School Connect's Love Our Schools Day brings community volunteers onto campuses to tackle projects schools need, from gardens and classroom makeovers to cleanup projects and STEM kits. And it doesn't have to be complicated.
Our library really needs more books, or we need to organize this closet, or we would love to show teachers some love and we want to paint the teacher lounge.
Firefighters have shown up to wash teachers' cars. One group of Junior Honor Society students painted a 4-square court, turning a service project into a lesson in leadership. Last year, 75 ASU Air Force ROTC cadets needed a place to volunteer. Peoria High School had a fence that needed painting, and its own junior ROTC students ready to join them.
Those kids spread out all the way around that campus and painted that fence, and it was just a service project, right? It's just giving back.
And sometimes the impact goes well beyond the project itself.
Kids, they just feel the love from the community, so they know that people support their learning, they support what we do.
And for schools that have a project in mind, but not the money to pay for it, there's another way to help. Love Our Schools Day project grants provide $200 for supplies. Businesses fund it, giving them a relatively small, tangible way to make a bigger impact. And the more partners who pitch in, the more schools can be helped.
Showing up for our schools has never been more important than it is right now, and it takes a village.
And being a villager has never been easier.
Change starts with us. It's benefiting our families, it's benefiting our community.
And it creates that sense of pride.
So if you want to get involved, loveourschoolsday.com is where you can find projects that are already looking for help Or you can sign your school up to host one. The deadline to apply for that $200 project grant is September 18th. And they could really use more businesses or community groups willing to sponsor that grant. The projects will actually happen on more than just one day. They'll happen across the valley on Saturdays in October and November. That's your Education Impact. I'm Nohelani Graff, 12 News.
It's really good to be alive.
77-year-old Patrick McGee is up walking and talking 3 weeks after his heart stopped on a Southwest flight from Omaha to Phoenix.
I'm Irish. I'm supposed to be real lucky in life. Well, I am.
For the first time since July 29th, he's reuniting with 3 of the people who saved his life in the narrow aisle of that plane.
That was your lucky day.
It was.
Thank you, Nina. You're not done here yet.
Patrick had a heart attack as the plane was landing at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. Southwest flight attendant Nina Castro jumped into action, calling for doctors or nurses and grabbing an AED machine.
Anybody can serve you a snack and a Coke, but flight attendants have to be ready for any emergency situation at any time.
Retired critical care nurse Laura Holton was the first to start CPR, and then nurse practitioner Caitlin Lockheim relieved her. After just a few minutes, he was breathing again.
And you opened your eyes, and I will never forget you looking at me, and I said, "Sir, you're gonna be okay. Can you tell me your name?" And you did.
I literally melted down. It was overwhelming.
The doctors and nurses at Abrazo, Arizona Heart Hospital have been helping him since. He's undergone open heart surgery.
When we did this operation, you know, your work was fully evident, right? And it was really well done.
Their team effort saved Patrick's life.
The right people fell into place. I don't know how much luckier I can be than that.
But it's not all luck. His medical team says it was immediate, effective CPR that gave him a second chance.
There's only a few critical minutes that you have to save a life.
Patrick will be going home soon, but he says he won't be leaving without knowing he now has a family in Phoenix.
I can't wait to give my grandkids, my son, my brothers, all the people that, all the people I love, a big hug. It's my second chance to do so.
Even the dive team is a very dangerous job and meticulous. They can only search about 4 feet by 25 feet an hour, and they have these masks right here that allows them to communicate with someone who's above water.
With more than 100 miles of canals across the city, the Phoenix Police Dive Team regularly is called into action.
We average between 30 and 60 calls a year. Sometimes we go through rashes where we're working every day recovering items.
Meet Sergeant David Jordan, 21 years on the team.
So the dive team was started back in 1984 with some officers, detectives from our, at that time, our General Investigations Bureau with our homicide unit.
The unit at full force has 2 full-time officers, including Jordan, and 16 collateral duty officers. That means
they all have another job. They come from all over the department, and then we get together typically once a month for training.
Getting on the team is a challenge.
They have to pass a swim test, and then we put them through a basic open water school that takes about a week.
Training, 160 hours.
It takes about a year with their other job that we have to try to work through to get them to be a basic public safety diver.
Then the work begins, often looking for evidence like guns tossed into the canals.
But typically it ends up with an officer in the water searching, hand over hand in the dark, looking for whatever the size of the item is that we're looking for.
The dive team also assists in removing vehicles from the canals, and
that we actually recover quite a few is vehicles in people's swimming pools in their backyards when they crash through the walls in these neighborhoods.
Jordan added the dive team has come a long way the past 4 decades.
We went from the officers providing all of their own equipment and doing it basically on their own time to now the department supports it with equipment and training.
Reporting at Dive Team headquarters in downtown Phoenix, I'm Greg Harris, 12 News.
And coming up, the third part of our series of discovering the beauty of Havasupai.
In all of our hearts as journalists beats
the idea that the truth is our North Star, and we are always digging for the truth.
Why isn't your chief of police here?
Mark Curtis on 12 News and streaming on the 12 Plus app.
So Beaver Falls, absolutely incredible, a must-see in the state of Arizona. However, now we're gonna take it one step further because we are going to try to see the confluence. That's where the Havasu Creek meets the Colorado River. In total, it's a 16-mile round-trip hike in order to see the confluence. Lots of river crossings and views like this are along the way to get there. Now, we got mixed reviews from people about it, but we still had to check it out for ourselves. You might even see some desert bighorn sheep along the way. So it does take a long time to get to, so make sure you leave early in the morning. But my wife and I, we had a great time and thought it was super fun to swim through the canal. Check out the water, how it goes from bright turquoise to clear to dark green of the Colorado River. That's the draw. You'll probably even run into people rafting down the Colorado River. Then, you hike back the way you came. Have you had enough fun yet? Believe it or not, those are all the stops while we're here at Havasupai. Thank you so much for joining us on this special episode of Rediscover Arizona. We hope you had a ton of fun. I'm gonna keep on swimming.
There's excitement at Millennium High School as more students are finding their place, their rhythm with the school marching band.
In COVID times, we lost quite a few students, so we were down in the probably 90s or less than that. And then in this past year, we started seeing a lot of growth in the program, up to about 120 now.
The marching band is well known, competing and playing in places like Hawaii, D.C., and even Ireland. Band director Brent Gobby here says more musicians means more opportunity.
We were able to do more stuff with the halftime production. We're able to, just have a better sound and all kinds of stuff. It's a lot of fun with the big band.
But they're finding they don't have enough instruments. And the ones they do have are, let's say, well-loved.
I think some of them are as old as 20, 25 years or so that, kind of opened with the school. And every once in a while we're able to purchase some new things, but just the cost is really expensive. Kids approach us a lot saying, hey, this is a stuck valve or a stuck slide or something, and it just challenges them a little bit, slows us down when we're dealing with those kind of things, and they can't be as successful.
I mean, this works, but I don't know for how long.
Zip ties, tape, they're doing what they can to keep the music playing.
Booster Club with fundraising, we pay for all those instructors. We also pay for additional instruments the district can't pay for.
Booster President Brian Murphy says they have the funds to buy some necessities, but with more band members, they need more help.
Especially first year freshmen, need them to have a positive experience. If they don't have a positive experience, they're not going to come back next year, or they might quit partway through the season. Their instrument doesn't work. That's frustrating. Your tools need to work.
The group has launched a fundraiser online. 100% of donations will help buy uniforms, gear, and the necessary instruments.
They absolutely deserve it. They deserve the tools to make their performance as good or better than any other school they compete with.
The community supporting really helps. The students are always super excited when we get new things and we see new equipment, and you just see their eyes light up when we have new stuff show up and better equipment to play on.
Even as the need grows, so does the band's pride. And as they march forward, they hope the community will march with them, so no student is left behind. Jay Cunningham, 12 News.
Ed Casano didn't need much technology to keep track of his adventures. He didn't even have a smartphone, but he did keep a book filled with GPS coordinates for the places he'd explored. And for years, Arizona was one of his favorite places to return to.
Arizona for us was like, it was a whole different world.
Rhett Stanberry says Casano took him under his wing 15 years ago. He became a mentor and father figure. The two made their first trip to Arizona together in 2013.
One of the best weeks of my life.
They'd head into remote areas looking for reptiles they couldn't find back home in Florida.
We'd go on out west and we'd see 50 western diamondbacks, and he would want to take a picture of each one.
Casano believed people and wildlife could coexist, not through force, but through understanding.
Probably the single most caring and compassionate person towards wildlife that I've ever known in my entire life.
Casano was even featured on the Animal Planet series Fatal Attraction.
Even after all these years, every time I go into a venomous snake cage, there's always a little adrenaline boost. You're just inches away from death at that point, so you're dealing with something that is dangerous on a daily basis.
But on August 7th, it wasn't a snake that killed him, it was a hit-and-run driver. Casano and a childhood friend pulled over to check out a snake along State Route 266, about 32 miles southwest of Safford. Casano was struck and killed by a car. DPS says the driver, 57-year-old Ricky Finch of Safford, turned himself in 3 days later.
He was a father, a girl dad. He loved his daughters. He was a mentor to a bunch of us.
Casano doesn't just leave behind a family, but also a collection of snakes, including a ball python he's had since the 70s.
For many years now, probably close to 10 years, he's had a will about where his animals go, and they go to me.
Today, Stanberry works for the state of Florida doing invasive python work and venomous snake removal. He and his wife also run a nonprofit wildlife rescue. He plans to keep doing what Casano taught him, including coming back to Arizona.
I would like to keep going to Arizona. I want to go back to Arizona in his memory.
In Phoenix, Kyle Simchuk, 12 News.
And thanks, everyone. And just a reminder that new episodes of 12 News in Focus premiere every Friday on the 12 News app. You can also watch past episodes. Just download the 12 News app on your TV devices and you can watch for free. I'm Caribe Divine. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend.